Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first women's team podcast. And my name's Claire Green, and today I'm joined by James Mozza-Morris and Ash Woodford. So, hi all.
Hello.
How you doing, Claire? You all right?
Yeah, good. So we decided to. It's about time we gave the women their flowers for just the way they've played this last season, and to highlight that by starting a podcast. So I want to thank Ash for allowing us to do this and working with us to enable us to do a women's podcast. So earlier this year I set up the Women's Supporters Club, mainly just to get more information out about the games, because the club were putting out very vague posts on the day and people wanted to know where these obscure grounds were. So I started putting information out, I started putting match reports out, and it was easier to share, and I had a base for it to be in one place. And I was joined by friends Robin and Tamara. So we've just kept going. We've done a end of season award and just tried to keep the engagement with fans up and encourage new supporters. So that's how we're here. And I know you two have both got daughters, and James, your daughter plays as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she plays a little bit. Bit of a goalkeeper lately. I think she's become more of a football fan than a football player. And obviously, as you know, she loves coming to watch the Fulham Women. An avid supporter, and I think probably a lifelong supporter now.
That's great to hear. And Ash, you've brought your daughter along, haven't you?
Yeah, my daughter, my niece, and my nephew, they've all come to their games. You know, my niece and my nephew, they actually live on Selhurst Road. They are very close to Crystal Palace, but they both probably consider themselves to be Fulham fans now. And that's not through the men's team, that's through the women's team and the sort of access they got through coming to watch the ladies play at Craven Cottage a few times, you know, which is a great experience for sort of everyone involved. For me, my daughter's probably a little less of a fan of football now, not because of what it is. Like she's grown up, she's a bit more interested in doing stage stuff, but she originally piqued my interest in coming and watch the women's team a few times, and now I am an avid checker of results and keeping an eye on the team. So I'm actually very pleased you guys have decided to start this thing up, because it means that get a bit more information about them, because the club aren't the best at getting it out. So, you know, I'm excited that this thing's started and very happy to help you get that done.
Yeah, thank you. I think what originally, I mean, I obviously been a supporter. This is my 50th season, and I've watched the women over the years, and I'm a player myself, a goalkeeper as well. But I've now sort of like this last 2 years coming to watch the women. It's just given me so much enjoyment. They play with smiles and sportsmanship. And they're just a great squad, and you can see that on and off the pitch. So I'm looking forward to doing more of these. So I think we were going to start with a brief rundown of our invincible season last year, winning our league. To go the whole league unbeaten, 20 wins, 2 draws, no defeats, and only one game we didn't actually score in. I think previous seasons we'd come third for the last 3 seasons, and gradually we're closing that gap to the top. And we needed a good start, and we did. I think the first 4 games we scored 35 goals and laid down a good foundation, and it kept going really. And at various games throughout that early period, I think the first away game at Sport London Benfica, when we scored a 98th minute winner to win 2-1, our first away game. And I felt then that, this could be our year.
Kind of set the tone, didn't it?
It did, yeah, because you had previous seasons we hadn't really got off to a great start. I think the season before we'd lost 2 and drawn 1 of the first 4, and then we were forever playing catch up. So and I think the girls, when they went on the Fulham program, said, it's like you have to be almost unbeaten all season, and that's what they did. So off to a great start. Nicked a win against Dorking, whereas previously games like that would probably have drawn, or maybe even have lost. So keeping clean sheets and winning 1-0 or the odd goal was what we needed to do against the teams around us, because there's normally 4 teams, and they're normally Dorking, Saltdean and Dartford and us, and you need to take points off your rivals, and that's what we started to do. So
interesting you say that. I mean, there was the end of last season, there was only 7 points between 2nd and 4th. Obviously, Dartford in 2nd, Saltdean in 3rd, and Dorking 4th. We obviously ended up 10 points clear of Dartford in the end. But yeah, we was pretty close between 2nd and 4th, as it was all season, really.
Yeah,
we were so far behind in games played, weren't we, at one point?
And that was the thing, wasn't it? It was difficult to judge.
And we were sort of chasing down. We were so far behind on points, but we had so many games in hand, and the girls just basically knew that as long as they won every game, then we'd walk the league. And obviously, eventually, it wasn't that easy, but it felt like that at the end. When you look at the point, we were 10 points clear at the end of the season, and it didn't feel like that as it was going along, I don't think.
Yeah, it was. I think obviously Dartford lost their first game of the season at Dorking, and that was the only game they would lose until we beat them on the last day. So normally 2 losses is enough to win the league. I think November we played Saltdean at the Cottage, drew 1-1. Again, another game we could have in previous years could have let go. They beat us 1-0 at home the season before, and they're a good team. And then coming up to Christmas, away to Barking, I thought Barking were one of the better sides we've played this year. We were 1-0 down at half time, up against it, and we came back again and won 2-1 and kept our incredible record going. And all the time this is going on, obviously we've got games postponed, we've got cup games, and like you say, I think at one point we were 10 games behind. And it was hard to fathom where we were, in the league. But the Great Cup run was absolutely amazing. I thought they did us proud. I think the highlight for me, probably one of the games of the season, was the cup game at Motspur Park against Royston, where we were 3-1 down and came back and won it 4-3. And for me then, I think that's when I saw the joy in the dressing room from the videos and the togetherness of the squad, and that coming back to win, that I thought, yeah, this could definitely be our season. And on the FA website, where you can check the tables and everything, they've also got a predictor, and you can go through and put what you think all the results were. And I think I had it that we'd win the league by 7 points. And by then, I think I was quite confident that we would go on and do it. So, yeah.
I think can I just, for someone who watched obviously quite a lot of this from a distance last year, that cup run was amazing. The game where Royston, and obviously they were losing and brought it back, great. Beating Brentford, always great, no matter what iteration of
Yeah.
Fulham it is at the moment. It's always going to go down well, you know. And I think the whole squad can be really proud of the FA Cup run they had last year. You know, losing against the London Bees is no shame. They've spent more money than any team has ever spent to get promoted up to
the
WSL this year.
Lionesses, City Lionesses,
Sorry, London Lionesses. Yeah, so there's no shame in losing to a team like that. As much as they did, maybe with a few of their second string. Their second string were all players that are coming straight out of WSL still. You know, and most of our women haven't had that experience. You know, but they did themselves proud. They did the club proud, and you know, I was really excited for that FA Cup run last year. I watched the game, obviously on the iPlayer at the Cottage because I couldn't get to it, where they lost 5-0 and were knocked out. But I still was immensely proud of the girls that day because you know they were playing against a team that were 7 steps ahead of them in the Football League. Like 7 steps. That's a massive difference. Like if you imagine that, and that's like Tooting and Mitcham playing against us, and then expecting Tooting and Mitcham to get a result. It ain't gonna happen. So to only lose 5-0 and to play the way they did was superb. And every time I saw them play last year, it wasn't just the results that was impressive. It wasn't just the team spirit that was impressive. It was the style. Like Steve's got them playing some great football. And they all bought into it, and they all just sort of there was no ego on the pitch, and you can tell, and it was brilliant, and I love watching it. And I think it's one of the reasons why I've enjoyed watching the women's team play so much personally, is because of that fact. There is no ego; it's all for the team. You know, you just look at Franny Gibbs getting kneed in the face during an FA Cup game. You know, she was unlucky she gave away a penalty for that. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, it's all for the team. It's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, that day against London City Lionesses was it was quite a special day for me. So my daughter was just 7 then as well, and she was actually one of the mascots walking out. So she got to walk out on the turf, on the pitch, you know, out from the Cottage. You know, it was a special moment. I made sure I was bang on the halfway line, obviously where the players line up each side of the officials, and the identity of the football and the way that we played, I think for the first, I'm sure it was about 21, 22 minutes, and it was still 0-0. And you could tell that they were a much better team, but we really held our own and carried on playing the way we played all season. And obviously in the end, you could see that the higher quality team obviously won the game in the end. But I think they can all hold their heads up high after that game, knowing that they gave it all, really.
Yeah, exactly. I think the cup run was sort of like, not many teams have a run of 5 games, and we by the time we played the Lionesses, we were the lowest ranked team left in the competition, and even though we are incredibly well funded, that the money is a great boost for team and the squad and the staff, and seeing them in the limelight with the cup, and it was really nice. And at the end of the season, I got invited to the pre-cup final party in Soho, and to see a Fulham shirt up next to the Man United and the Chelsea shirt was really nice. And they did a song that we sang in the dressing room, stuff like that. So it was. Like you say, they were definitely you could see they were pro, semi-pro, and you could see that, you know, that's where we want to be. You know, we are, you know, positive in our outlook of where the team want to be, and I think we need to embrace that. I was going to say briefly.
I was going to say it showed, obviously, because London City Lionesses ended up obviously where they did at the end of the season. So it just shows you the difference in quality, really.
Yeah, in the WSL now. Yeah,
we would love to be up there in 3 seasons' time, ideally.
Yeah,
but, I think it would take
World Cup players in, and
I mean,
I was going to say briefly at the at the beginning of the season, we did get a few players in. We got Ella Newman, Evie Gain, and Stella Gandy, and proved really, really good signings. But then throughout the season, we added Kaylee, but we also lost Sophie Manzi in that cup game at home. And that was quite hard, right? I always hate, it's a lot of frustration, and we've had a lot of injuries, and it's quite prevalent in the women's game, the ACL. I've done it myself last year, so
I can still remember at Motspur Park at that game when Sophie Manzi did that, and I can still remember that shout like it was yesterday when she went down, and that's almost screamy shout. You knew it was bad straight away, and she was a massive loss.
Yeah, and I think seeing her go off on the golf buggy is always like, like you say, with that scream, something's up. But also we brought in Jay Bradley and Lita Rutherford, Bo Parker. Sorry, we've got a few Bows, haven't we? Bo Taylor, Bo Parker.
24, Bo Parker.
And unfortunately, she's now done an ACL. But they still. I love the fact that they all turn up for training still, and they're with each other, and they're supporting each other, because obviously, injury is a part of the game, and we lost Tia out as well, and I think we've got the squad though to cover it, sort of thing, but it's still not nice to see. So
the players that have come in and had to take the place have done their job and probably more, I would say.
Exceptionally,
over the course towards the end of the season, there seemed to be one injury after another, and the players that then stepped up and came on the field and took over those positions, obviously as it happened at the end, it was everyone did their bit. Like you said, it was a proper squad win.
Yeah, I think that was backed up by Meg's talk in the dressing room after we won the title. Even though the difference between the first game and the last game, I think there was only 5 players who played in that first game, played in the last game. It just shows you, the commitment of those players early on in the season to put us in a position. And it was once that cup defeat was out the way, we had Dartford at home, and it was a funny game, really, because we did everything but score. Hit the post, it come off their keeper's backside,
crossbar and out again.
And for once, actually, Dartford weren't that dirty in that game. They just come and park the bus, and I think at that moment I thought, they think they've done enough, but they really had to come and win that game. They had to come and do something, and they didn't, And even though we drew it, it was the last time we dropped points, and that gap and the amount of games kept getting closer and closer. So we sort of like, we had a run where we just kept winning and doing well. I think by then the team had bonded. The players that had come in over after Christmas were gelling. And then we went to Dorking and won 3-1. And I thought, again, it's sort of like, when you're going there and winning, that's great. That's the difference this year. And I thought we played really well again. The teams don't give up, and we just keep going. Though we're not happy with 1-0 or 2-0. We will keep going, and I think that's what I've liked about this style of play is that the team want more every time, and Steve's got them firing up like that, and it's just a joy to behold.
Yeah, I think adding to that, Steve's way of playing is, and I think a lot of the time, obviously, we're looking to attack, but on the other hand, we're very patient. We'll knock the ball around to midfield, back to defence, and even going back to Frankie or Amber and just, taking a touch, having a look, taking a bit of time, playing it back out to the left, to the right. Some would say a bit tippy tappy football some of the time, and it, we have put ourselves in trouble a few times, but you can see that identity of what exactly he wants the girls and the team to do, and the way that we then attack, whether it's down the left, down the right, through the middle. And it's never the same either. It's always slightly different, but you can know that there's an identity to that team and the way that Steve's asking the team to play. And, like you said, if it's 1-0, we want it to be 2-0 or 3-0. We're not just sitting there parking the bus, going for a 1-0 win. Which is great to see, really, because I think too many teams do that, really, don't they?
Yeah. It's. I think it's come from a foundation of with a strong backroom staff that have been there a while now, and there's a good, a good squad, a good bunch of staff, and I think just seeing the girls play with smiles on their face, letting them express themselves on the pitch, has been amazing to watch. So, we kept clawing back, and then it got to Haywards Heath. So Haywards Heath got relegated in the end, didn't they? So, and we won 6-0.
Yeah.
But Dartford only had 2 games left, I think, and they were playing Saltdean, and kept checking the results, and it was coming through. Saltdean were winning 2-0, because at that point it was a 3-way race with Dartford, us, and Saltdean. Dartford managed to score 2 late goals, which, as it turned out, was the best result, because it took Saltdean out of the equation. They then couldn't win, and it meant that the next weekend, when we went to Saltdean and won again, 1-0 down, 2-1 up, that put us in a great place, because then we go to the Cottage needing 3 points, and the championship is ours. And
what a game that was! London Benfica. I mean, there was a great turnout. There was over 2,000 supporters at that game, which was a breath of fresh air. And obviously we romped the victory in that game. Eventually, it took a little while, if I remember rightly, to get that first goal, and then kind of in the second half, the floodgates opened, and we just went on and absolutely annihilated them in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, Tag's got a customary goal at the Cottage, and off we went. And
Stella banged in a hat trick. Yeah, fantastic.
It was, and I thought that's what the girls deserve. They need a crowd like that. It was great to see all their families, and just the relief of getting over the line. And the club really got behind it, didn't they? They really did the girls proud with the signage and the fireworks and
the fire show was brilliant at the end with obviously lifting the trophy and everything else. It was such a great feeling, and I think most of the 2,000 people that day were Fulham fans, and like you said, there was a lot of family. I remember being we were just behind Olivia Dale's parents and her sister, and I just remember that just the everyone's faces. It was just, we had tears in our eyes, and my dad and my stepmom, and it was just a fantastic feeling. And Amelia was absolutely loving it. It was a special moment. Yeah, one I'll never forget, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I expect did you watch the highlights, Ash? They did what
No,
they
I
do
was
for
I was at
men's
their game
team.
actually. Yeah, no, I came. No,
Oh, you
I
came.
came
Oh,
down to
brilliant.
watch it. Yeah. So I was very very pleased to sort of catch the catch, obviously, them lifting the trophy and stuff. 'Cause I knew it had been a hard season. I knew it had been a hard fought year for them, and you can tell. I think the full time whistle. Even though the game had been, by the end of it was, I think the last bit of the game, we knew what was going to happen in like 20 minutes time, wherever it was.
Yeah.
There was definitely a big load of relief when the full-time whistle, when you could see that. I think a lot of them could finally just let their hair down and enjoy the moment of, getting that promotion. Especially for some of them, it was sort of the end of the line, not just with Fulham, but, at that level of football. And for others, you could tell that, they were raring to go for the next step up. So it was a very good game to be at, and it was a very good game to watch. And it was definitely a fun experience to see them, lift the trophy and move on up like they deserve to.
Yeah, and I was fortunate to go to the Temperance afterwards, and they certainly did let their hair down. Well deserved. Lots of shots, but the thing then was obviously we wanted to go the season unbeaten, and there was a record points tally to go for, and Benfica needed us to do to Ashford Town what we had done to them, and that's beat them and send Ashford down, and that's what we did. We went to Ashford, won 6-0. I think G scored 4 goals, and it sent us to Dartford really for the last game of the season, and
I couldn't have gone much better either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By now, we'd obviously had to withdraw from the League Cup. We were due to play Dartford in the final. We'd fielded an illegible player. If you play more than 6 games for another club, you can't play in the League Cup. And we didn't pick it up. The FA didn't pick it up until we got to the final, and near enough the day before. So it was... right, okay, and Dartford fans have been quite aggy on Twitter, cheating Fulham, etc. And we needed to go to Dartford and shut them up, and we did. And
nice 3-0 victory.
By then we were 7 points clear, and I think we knew we were in for a tough ride. And it was quite a painful watch, to be honest. When you got the opposition manager geeing his players on to hurt the Fulham players, it's quite hard to listen to.
Yeah, but, very physical.
Stella did a pirouette in the middle, sent Maddie off, 2 minutes, boom, and there you go. And then Stella put us 2-0 up, and their challenges got later and later, and half time they'd had 2 players booked, and it was descending a little bit into like a kick fest, but we played our football and thoroughly deserved it. I think there was a tackle on Jade where the Wolves didn't even give a foul and she had to get carried off. So I didn't think the ref was strong enough for the game. Becky scored late on, and even though Megs had a penalty save, we got the points, we got the record, we stayed invincible, and football won that day, and the cloggers, sulked. So so overall, what a season! Absolute outstanding season, and I think. Yeah, like you say, Ash, we lost a few players. I think it must be so hard for managers letting players go, and we let Cat Beaver go, and Anisha. They've both gone to Wickham. Georgia's gone to Dorking. Alex,
yeah, G was a big part. Did a lot, didn't she? Especially that game, she scored 4.
Which she's been with the club
really
4 years. So
I think it's one of those things though. When you play at this level of football and you move up, sadly that you have if you have the ambition like we clearly do to go out the leagues, you have to be a little bit cutthroat with players. We see it the year before last when we got rid of Mary Southgate, who isn't someone who's just popular at Fulham. She is Fulham through and through. And to cut ties with her would have been hard for the club to do. But sort of the thing you realise that if you want to keep going up steps, you have to do it. Seeing Georgia go was obviously hard because most people who don't even watch the girls that much would have seen her play for Fulham and know she's a really good player. But if the club have got ambitions of going up steps, sometimes you've got to make these decisions. You see it in the men's game at lower league as teams come up. Look at Wrexham. You're looking at the men's league now that they're getting rid of players that are absolutely idolised by their fan base because they're not good enough for the level they're at. It's just that the club want to be here, and they're not quite there, and that's what we're going to see.
Higher quality.
And I think as well,
I think that's the one thing Fulham's done well.
It's not always a question of, a lot of the girls, it might be jobs or college or university. There's lots of other factors go in it. I mean, it was a shame. G was, I think, scoring over a goal every 2 games. So you should have been here for 4 years. And that's, that's really quite an amazing thing. Ella Newman, who had come in that season, has done a brilliant job. Another one surprised I thought would still be here. Betty and Belle and Prudy also gone, and Alex. So a lot of the players were coming back from injury. Anisha and Alex both come back from ACLs. And Alex came back, got on the pitch, scored a goal, and it was such a shame. So, but like you say, Ash, I think this is why Steve's doing the job, and I think because the attachment to the squad and how good they are together is very tricky to do all the letting goes.
I think. Sorry, Ash. I was going to say it is obviously a tough, and like you said, some of the more popular people you don't want to see go, but at the end of the day, taking the next step up now to this tier, going into division that we're going into, like you said, it has to be done, unfortunately.
Well, I was going to add to you look at the players that we brought in this year, they're all arguably step above where we are right now. And that's what we're doing. That's what Fulham are doing well in the sense of they're letting players go that maybe this would have been their limit. And they're bringing in players that are, this year might not be their limit, but if they get promoted again, that might be their limit. And that's what we need. And we want steady progression. That's what you have to have. It's, you can't go and buy players or bring players in from 3 leagues above and just hope they coast through for 4 to 5 years. You can't do that. It's not how it's not how this level works of football.
Yeah,
but I think Fulham are doing it the right way in the sense of we're not having wholesale changes. We're trying to keep the core of the squad to the core of the squad. We're just adding to it in a way that supplements and takes the whole squad up a step, which I think we've seen so far this season, which we'll come to talk about naturally, I know.
Yeah, I think also having the backing and puts a bit of pressure on the team. They've become let's beat Moneybags Fulham, and it's I thought they dealt with that really well as well. So I think that's gradually just losing that tag and letting the football do the talking. So great season all round. We gave our player of the season to Stella Gandy Morgan. I think she got the Players Player and the Football Supporters Trust Player. Absolutely astounding. Maddie with the most assists. Best save was Amber, I think, against Dartford. So lots of positives from that season that that we took forward really, and right, so rightly, the girls went off and enjoyed their summer. It's so nice seeing all their posts. I've been in so many countries; they were all up everywhere, letting a hair down. Marbella looked a blast, and it was great to see. And the summer, well, we'd finished our season. Arsenal went on and won the Champions League, and then obviously the Lionesses did it again. And that sort of boost for the women's game is so good to see. I think we're still feeling the effects of the first win, so it's sort of like feeding in, and it's getting the attention that it deserves. And I think this
100%.
season,
I think going into this new season, the aim has got to be really high. We've got, like you said, we've added 4 really good players into the squad, and I think we're really looking forward to hopefully a really good season, and let's hope we can do back-to-back promotions.
Yeah, that would be really I think what we have got is momentum now. We've got a team that doesn't give up. We've got a team that fights for each other, and they don't like losing, Okay, so that's our first show done. Thank you, everyone. Really good to bring back the memories of what a great season. And in the next episode, we'll be looking at the signings, pre-season friendlies, and maybe a couple of the first games. So you can follow the Women's Supporters Club on all the socials, X and Insta and Facebook. And we hope you enjoyed the show, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. So thank you, James.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Ash. It's been a pleasure. Really looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, Ash.
No problem. Thanks very much, guys. No problem. Thanks very much for having me on. Just everyone who's watching knows, obviously, this is going to be out on the Full-On YouTube channel, and so come and subscribe to the channel for all the latest videos for Fulham, not just the women's ones, but we are gonna have more and more content from the women out. These guys are gonna crack down and get down and talk about all the ins and outs of the women's game, keep us all up to date on what's going on, a bit better than the club do, hopefully. And then we can all enjoy what's hopefully going to be a very successful season, not just for the team, but for you two as well. So thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure to come on and talk about it.
That's great. Thank you.